this video, I'm only going to be talking about Booktok books that I think are actually worth reading. Not the overhyped or the books, but the bangers. But I'm going to be doing it with a twist because we're going to be coloring today as I recommend these books. I want this video to feel like a FaceTime call between me and you. So I have my coloring book, my markers, and my book recommendations ready. So plus you get a side view of what I'm coloring. Not like you care, but it's gonna be fun. So let's get started. Before I move into the first recommendation though, I think I have to select the page that I'm going to be coloring in. And ooh, do you see that? This is why I've stuck my mic on this, just so I can actually function while speaking as well. I don't want to do a very complicated one. My brain cannot function doing two things at once. So that's cute. I don't know. That is fun. I made my choice. Also, I've categorized each book in like, well, it's not a category. I've basically titled each book. So the first book that I'm going to be recommending is a book that made me want to gossip. It brought the gossip girl. I've never seen it, so I don't know. But like the gossip girl in me. And that is Yellowface. Now this, I forgot, I'm supposed to be coloring and speaking. So Yellowface is basically about a white writer who steals her Asian friend's manuscript after she dies and publishes the book as her own. So this book talks about cancel culture, racism in publishing, and white entitlement. And it's also very juicy and very dark yet funny. You'll feel weird reading it, but I guess that is the point because that's how I felt. Also, we've colored our first leaf. I actually love this. So since I just finished this book, luckily I remember a few of the things about this that I really like. First of all, this book had been trending everywhere on Booktok, on the Booktok community, and I think it's a pretty old book now. I think it came out maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I was actually very confused as to what type of book this would be. I realized it's like a mystery slash, well, it's not a thriller, like a mystery book. When I started reading it, it actually, like, the tone of the author who was, you know, who we were following was set right from the start. Like, it was very funny, also very weird, and oh my god, basically from my overall experience of this book, something I noticed is basically that the way this book is written, it's like someone who is mentally not okay. Like the start of the book starts off like that and then it keeps going. So like everything seems a bit sane at the beginning, but also like weird at the same time, that even you're like, is this normal? And then as the book goes on, things keep changing. The way the author is speaking starts changing, our main character, and towards the end you're like, wow, I think this person, well, I'm not gonna say it, but it's like, it's very weird. And also there are certain things about obviously racism in publishing, and then lots of controversial topics that are discussed in this. This happens with these types of people, this happens with like this type of people. That's like the reality of what happens in the publishing industry. So also that is something I really liked about this book, is you got to see the ins and outs of what happens in the publishing industry, what really happens behind the scenes, and how everything is not fluffy and beautiful. Oh my god, just like this moment. Where was I? Yeah, the publishing industry. Also, I mean, I've never thought about what happens behind the scenes, but it was very interesting to read about it. Definitely also very sad. I think only when you read the book will you understand it, and then maybe you'll start thinking a little bit more deeply about giving new authors a chance, moving away from like your normal authors and books that you read. The way it was written, one note that I wrote down about the book was that each word, each sentence felt like it was very important in the book. Like there was no like fluffy words or sentences that would, you know, bore you or waste your time. Like it was all so perfectly written. Like how, you know, in books sometimes you can have like very extra descriptions. Nothing like that. The mystery was intact throughout the book. I finished the book quite quickly, so I absolutely loved that, and I gave it a 4 stars. So I actually really enjoy this book. If you're someone who wants to read a mystery book, but that is a bit different from like, you know, all the murder and just like a whodunit type of book, this is a very interesting new concept to read, I feel. The next book is a book that felt like a warm hug, and that is Funny Story. So it's about this woman whose fiance leaves her for his childhood best friend, and she ends up living with the guy who got dumped by that same best friend, and they are complete opposite people. It's a slow burn, fake dating, rom-com type of book. I thought this book was very funny. I loved the banter between the two characters, and also the concept itself I found really interesting. So it was very interesting to read those dynamics and also see our main character, whatever her name is, you know, them being roommates. That is a situation I really loved. I keep saying this everywhere. This is something I love about this book, is the fact that they're roommates. You know, they hang out in the evenings or in the afternoons or dinners, and like, you know, they're hanging out together in the living room. They are watching movies on the weekends. They are basically bonding on this like normal, what do you call it? Like on a normal Sunday, normal Monday, just like every day seeing each other. That's just adorable, and their banter is great. Instantly when the main characters were introduced, the girl was introduced, and then the way that the guy was introduced I really liked, because this book is just written so beautifully, because you get to know about the guy, like when our main female character walks into his part of the room and, you know, she's describing the things she's seeing. So that's just, it just created such a good mental picture of who the guy was and like what he would like, what he doesn't like. All of that was so interesting. I really enjoyed that part. Also, are we loving my coloring or not? I love it. And it wasn't just a funny book. It had a lot of complexities in it, because both our characters are traumatized and they are dealing with their own stuff, with their own families. The girl doesn't have the best relationship with her mother. The guy, I don't remember his trauma. I think it has something to do with his family as well though. And so at the start of the book, you get like a very good idea of what's happening. And also they have to fake date because those two best friends are about to get married. And so they mailed their wedding invitation to both of these people. And so both the people are like jaw drop on the floor. Like, 1 month after breaking up with us, you are marrying each other? So that is funny. So basically that tips them into fake dating. So they're like, you know, we're gonna tell them that we're dating each other, make them feel jealous, and let them know that we are having a fabulous time, which is absolutely wrong, of course. They think about them 24/7. Really enjoyed this book. I think, if I'm not wrong, I gave this a 5-star. And if you're someone who loves romance books and you're looking for a new setting where the romance is taking place, as I mentioned, like, most of this story takes place in the apartment which they both are sharing. So that's just a great dynamic, because, like, you know, people come in to visit the girl and then people come in to visit the guy, like his friends, and then there's like this awkward dynamic, like, oh my god, what are your friends doing here? I want to sleep. Or, you know, I don't make sense, but you get what I mean. Like, you just get lots of those interactions which are just so fun to witness. Also beautifully written. I would highly recommend. My battery is about to die. Wait, bestie, let me recharge you. All fixed. What were we talking about? Yes, I highly recommend. Next is a book I would sell my soul to read for the first time again, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I had heard people talking about this book so much. Like, whenever I would post videos of me crying over books or asking people for recommendations of books that would make me cry, people would be like, oh my god, did you read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue? Oh my god, are you crying because you read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue? And I'm like, who the hell is this Addie LaRue and why is she invisible? Let me tell you. So this girl Addie basically makes a deal with the devil to live forever. So he grants her the wish. However, there is a catch that no one can ever remember her. Like, if she's in a room, she's talking to people, people know her, great, but as soon as she walks out of the room, people will forget who she is, if she ever existed. So sad. It's basically about loneliness and finding meaning in life when you can't be remembered, plus you're invisible. One day, however, someone remembers her, and that's when it gets really good. It's honestly chills, full body chills thinking about it. This was such a dark book. If I recall, when I imagine myself, you know, how I felt when I was reading this book, I just see darkness. It was so depressing. The theme is sad, the concept is sad. So the whole time I enjoyed it. I really wanted to finish it because I just loved it. Like, I loved reading it, but I was also depressed at the same time. So if you're looking for a sad book that's good, maybe read this one. Beautifully written, jaw-dropping. The ending, I'm still in awe that this is a single book, that there is no second part to this book, because it ends so abruptly, or at least to me, it felt like it ended abruptly, which I just love. It put me in shock, so I guess the author did what he was supposed to do or wanted to do. It does have a love triangle, so, you know, warning, I guess, how people give trigger warnings. Warning for a love triangle, I guess. The characters are great, even the guy who remembers, what's her name? What is her name? Addie. It's in the title. The boy who remembers her is just so sweet. When you find out why he can see her or remember her, and then, you know, that part is just like holding your heart and you're like, please don't. Like, you're begging the author, like, don't do this. No. But highly recommend. I gave it a 5-star. Definitely worth the hype. All those people that were asking me, they were right. I should have read it sooner. Let's finish this leaf. The next book is a book that made me romanticize everything. By everything, I mean like everything in capital letters. Everything. And that is Once Upon a Broken Heart. One of my favorite fantasy series ever. Like, it's this and there's Fourth Wing. So this book is set in a whimsical fantasy world where a girl makes a deal with a fade called the Prince of Hearts to basically stop the boy she loves from marrying someone else. And he's like, okay, And so she ends up making a deal. However, the deal comes with consequences. And then everything spirals into magic, sparkles, glitter, and the fairy tale just goes dark very quickly. I love. If you're looking for a new book boyfriend to be obsessed with, maybe read this book. Everything about him. Oh, I didn't know we were talking about him. I thought we were talking about the book. Anyways, everything about him is fascinating. First of all, he hates the world. He hates everyone and everything. Anything that breathes, basically, he loathes, including our female character. So basically it's an enemies to lovers trope, like really strong enemies to lovers, which only makes it better, I feel, at the end. At the beginning, it was a bit hard for me to imagine the world because it was one of the first fantasy books I ever read. However, it was actually very easy to imagine the world. The world building was very easy to understand, also very beautiful, and the map in the book itself is gorgeous. Pretty perfection art. As soon as I was reading the book, like I could imagine the world. Like when she was worried, I felt worried for her. When she was excited, I felt excited for her. I feel like me and Evangeline, we like built a connection and it's still there. I miss her. Obviously worth the hype. And also, this is one of the only series I've ever read which is consistently good, like in all the books, because there are 2 more books, so it's 3 books in total, and all of them are consistently good. Fourth Wing, Caraval, The Inheritance Games. Like I can think of these series and I can pinpoint to you a book that was bad in the series or maybe more. But in this, I cannot. It's literally impossible because all of them are consistently good, and I think that says a lot. There are a ton of characters, so it might be a bit confusing at the beginning who's who, and like people keep coming back, but like who were you at the start really, because I don't remember. Also, I think it's written in a way where I think the author knows you're gonna forget the characters, so she like brings up their descriptions or like what the characters are known for, so you basically like, oh, like this was a dragon or this was a Dracula, like, you know, 5-star. Highly recommend. And now we actually have just 1 book left, so before I move on to that book, I want to finish coloring these leaves, so give me 2 minutes. This is so calming and satisfying. I love it. And I'm done. Do you like it? Anyways, so the last book is a book that made me ignore real life, and that is, drumroll please, oh wait, my mic will fall. The Housemaid. I love this book. Let's change the color. So The Housemaid is basically about a girl who gets hired to work as a live-in maid for a rich family. However, nothing is as it seems. The wife is acting weird, the husband gives major creepy vibes, and the room upstairs where she's staying one day doesn't open and she's locked inside. It's giving psychological chaos, and trust me, it goes off the rails in the best way. This book is written in such a gripping manner. I finished this so quick. Everyone has been talking about The Housemaid. It's also being turned into a TV show. It is quite a haunting book as well. I had to take a couple of breaks reading it just because when the main part starts, it gets a bit creepy and there's blood and there's, you know, I just had to take a break and be like, 2 minutes, time out. Also, this was my first Frida McFadden book. I've been hearing about her all the time. I read it and I was like, I love this book, and I want to read more from this author because it was written so perfectly. Like you think you know where it's going, but you don't. You don't think anything because it's so confusing. You're like, what in the Mars is actually happening? I don't understand. Like where is this going? You wouldn't know. Like usually when I'm reading crime books, I feel like I am very good at, well, I wouldn't say very, but I am a bit good at guessing like what's about to happen. I have a little bit of inkling. I don't even think there's one time where my guess was correct because it's just written so well. You feel like accusing certain characters and just think, oh, it can't be this, it can't be that, and you're dumbfounded. Also, this cardigan is starting to look very cute. If you want to finish it in one day, read it. If you love a thriller, read it. If you love reading about gory stuff involving blood, read it. It's just a great book. Also, it has 2 other books. It is a series. However, The Housemaid is definitely the best book. So The Housemaid, definitely worth the hype. So those were the 5 Booktok books I think are actually worth the hype and you should be reading. There's definitely so much more because I'm on Booktok so much that most of the books I read and the recommendations I get are from them. So I've definitely read more than 5 books that are worth the hype. So I could definitely make a part 2. Also, would you have a look at my cardigan? It is not finished. Definitely nowhere near finished because it is a bit hard to speak and color at the same time. Believe it or not, I tried my best. Honestly, I'm proud. I like it. It looks cute. And also we had a great FaceTime call, so it was worth it. Let me know in the comments if you read any of these Booktok books and if you thought they were overhyped or if you liked it and think they were actually worth it. Also, if you like this video, please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. It definitely helps out. Also, if you want more book recs, more bookish content to watch, make sure to subscribe because I post videos every single week, and also make sure to follow me on my socials. I also post there every day. So, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!